because I did go up the stairs. I don't know, maybe I'm that out of shape. I have no idea. What is up, my Olympias? It's Vanessa and welcome back to the channel. So for today's video, this is more of an informative one, but it is related to pregnancy, and it is something that happened to me about 3 weeks ago, and it was a second trimester scare that happened during my pregnancy. As of today, I am filming this. I'm 6 months pregnant. Look at that bump. It's getting there. I wanted to talk about it, and I thought it would be good, especially for anyone that is pregnant or wants to get pregnant, that, you know, these things do happen. And I feel like a lot of YouTubers, they talk about like, oh, pregnancy, they talk about like nesting, like all the happy things, but they don't talk about things that actually happen, like real life events that happen that could scare you. And I wanted to kind of put people at ease and let people know these things happen, but everything's fine, clearly, because we're going to talk about it. So yeah, let's get into it. This happened about like 3 weeks ago. Basically what happened was I was at work. I don't know if you guys know, but I have a full-time job. I work as like a program manager. I'm full-time there. I go into the office twice a week. So this was a Tuesday. I went into the office. I go in Tuesdays and Wednesdays. So it's a Tuesday, go to the office, regular day. One of my coworkers actually felt the baby kick, which was like, she was so excited to feel that. And then around, I would say 1:30, I had to go to the bathroom. You know, pregnancy. And this was so dumb because they were fixing the lights in the bathroom, so it was kind of dark. But when I peed, I wiped and there was like some color, like a little bit of like a light pink. And I'm like, oh, okay, like maybe I pulled something, I don't know. Because I did go up the stairs. I don't know, maybe I'm that out of shape. I have no idea. So whatever, I was like, okay, I'll monitor it, you know, wash my hands, left, whatever. And then I felt something again when I was about to leave, like come out. So I ran back into the stall, I wiped, and then it was like a darker pink. And I'm like, okay, what is that? But it was still a pink. Then I started to freak out a little bit because I'm like, what's going on here? I haven't had spotting since literally I was in my first trimester. So this is the first time that has happened in a while. And yeah, it was just insane. And I haven't done anything out of the ordinary. I started to panic because obviously I'm in the office. When you're at home, it's different. At least you're in the comfort of your own home. You don't have to worry about people around you. But now I'm like starting to get hot. The first person I called was my husband. And I'm like, I'm freaking out. I don't know what to do. I'm like, should I go home? Should I go to the hospital? My birthing hospital isn't in Toronto. I'm like, should I go home and go to that hospital? Like, I didn't know what to do. And he was just like, no, go to the hospital near you. I also called my family doctor to let them know because I didn't see my OBGYN yet. I had an appointment with her like 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, I decided to go to St. Mike's, which was the closest hospital in downtown Toronto to me. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go there. Called my manager to let her know. She said she'd cover for me for anything because I did have some meetings, which was great. Then what ended up happening was one of my coworkers, so sweet, her name's Trish, she was like, do you want me to come with you? And I was like, no, it's okay. I don't know, like, and she was like, okay. She's like, if you want me to come with you, I'll come. It's okay. And I'm like, okay, sure. Which was so nice because honestly, it put me at so much ease to have her there with me. So thank you, Trish. Mwah. Love you. Thank you for coming. We ended up going there, and the hospital, I gotta say, I was panicking, okay? I didn't know what to do at this point, but I'm gonna put you with some ease for anyone that's pregnant. So it depends on how far along you are in your pregnancy. For me, I was between 20 and 21 weeks. And so we enter St. Mike's, and we didn't go to the emerge department because it was on the other side. We just entered at the main entrance, and there was like a help desk. And I was like, hey, I need to go to, where's the emergency department? She's like, oh, are you visiting someone? And Trisha's like, no, she's pregnant and she needs to be seen. And she's like, oh, are you over 20 weeks? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And she's like, okay, you go straight over there, follow this line and take the elevator up to the 5th floor, or 15th floor, which is the maternity floor. And I was like, oh, okay. Went straight there. That way I skipped the whole emergency department. So for anyone that's like closer to their second trimester, you don't have to wait in the regular emergency area. You can just go straight up. I don't know how it is in earlier terms. I don't know if they keep you in the regular loop or they'll kind of push you ahead. But it seems, at least I was really thankful that I just went straight up and didn't have to be with everyone else, like people that had a cold and like, you know, were actually sick and you have to wait hours in the emergency area. So we went straight up, and literally there was no one there. It was like amazing. It was like 3 o'clock in the afternoon. There was like one couple that was there. I guess she was starting to like go into labor or something, because they ended up sending her home and said to come back. She wasn't dilated as much as she should have been. But anyways, the part that I had to wait long for was the doctor, mind you. But for anyone that's been to emerge in a hospital, you always have to wait for your queue to even be seen. Then finally after that long queue, which is like at least an hour, then you're waiting for a doctor. So this, at least I skipped the first part. So I was seen by a nurse right away. So what ended up happening, they put me through right away. First thing they checked was heartbeat of baby, and Trish actually heard the heartbeat of the baby as well. And she got emotional over it, which was so sweet. But yeah, so we heard the baby's heartbeat, which was calming. They asked me like, have you felt baby kick recently? I'm like, yeah. And even my coworker's like, yeah, I actually felt the baby kick this morning. So everything was fine. Then I finally saw the doctor, and the doctor was like, yeah, so we need to check your cervix and do a cervical exam. I'm like, so they basically use a tool that you use for a PAP. So they went in, they checked it. They said cervix looks good. And then they also had to take a swab, waiting for the test results. Then we also did an ultrasound, so we saw baby moving, all the fingers and toes wiggling around. So that was also very calming. First they were testing the fluid they basically said it looks like a COVID test. But that one was kind of like, didn't really give a positive answer. So then she had to do another swab, which was very uncomfortable. She was like, oh, this will be less painful than the cervical exam. She puts the swab in, and literally it was like, ow! And the nurses were holding my hand. They were like, she was like, that's painful? I'm like, yeah. I think she was like scraping the side or something. I don't know, whatever it was, it hurt. They basically looked under a microscope. What they were looking for was to see if amniotic fluid was leaking, which is like the fluid that surrounds baby. So when it dries, it will be crystallized, but because it wasn't crystallized, there was no crystallization happening. They determined it wasn't the amniotic fluid leaking, cervix wasn't thinning or anything, placenta was good, so they were and baby seemed fine, so they're like, you know what, just monitor things, don't do anything too crazy, whatever, and if anything, come back to see us or go to your local hospital, whatever. So if you're pregnant and you have like a spotting incident that's like later on, not in the first trimester, like a little bit later than that, honestly, just go to the hospital and get checked out, because they do all the tests to make sure that you're good. I had no cramping, no anything, and eventually, honestly, it went away in like 2 days after that. I told my manager, I'm like, I'm staying home the rest of the week. But yeah, no, it was like an insane time, and the next day it hurt to pee, because when she went in with the swab and got her sample, literally it felt like it was scraping. So I think she scraped something on the side, because it hurt on one side to pee, like it was stinging. So, but anyway, after that I was pretty much okay. So yeah, like even the hospital said, yeah, so spotting sometimes just happens, like you could have been doing something out of the ordinary, and you know, it could have just been a vessel, it could have been anything. So they're like, don't worry, like as long as you don't have cramping and heavy bleeding, you're fine. Just go and get checked, because otherwise, honestly, if I stayed at work, I'd be like panicking, like the wheels turning in your head, especially after going through a miscarriage for the first pregnancy. Any color will freak you out. Don't be alarmed. I just want to put people at ease with that. Like, just get checked by your doctor, by the hospital. They're there to help you. And yeah, my experience there was really great. And we were only there for 2 hours in total. Yeah, it was overall a great experience, and baby's doing good. So I hope me explaining what I went through has helped you and maybe put you at ease for if you're pregnant and you have something like that happening. But honestly, everyone was very informative and asked if we had questions. So yeah, it was overall a great experience. The only thing I want to note to people, I just remembered, if you are at a hospital that's not the hospital you're giving birth to, they asked for my OBGYN's information, but they didn't send anything to her, which was weird. And also, I called them because my family doctor also just requested for the file, and they said that they need some form of consent. to be faxed to them, which is kind of annoying to do. And also on top of it, when I was there, apparently they were supposed to give me the results, like a hard copy. That way I can just give it to my doctor, because I have to be there in person to give consent. It was like so weird. So if you go to a hospital or a doctor that's not your normal doctor, just make sure to tell them, please send a copy to my OBGYN, to my midwife, to my doctor, whatever it is, because right now they don't have the copy. My OBGYN was like, oh, I wouldn't worry about it, I don't need it, but I'm gonna tell my family doctor to fax it. But it's just like so annoying. That's like, really? Now I have to go backwards to get my file even though I was there. So that's a little annoying. That concludes my second trimester scare experience, but it turned out to be a good one, so I'm happy to share that. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope it was very informative for you, especially anyone in Ontario, because that's where I am. So I know the healthcare system is a little bit different wherever you are, so hopefully it's helpful. If you guys like these types of videos, make sure to give them a like. If you have any questions, comment them down below. I'll answer them as best as I can. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button down below, as I post every single Friday. Thanks for watching, and see you next week. Bye!